Good morning. This is Mr. Snyder in the library, and I'm sorry I can't be in your class today to talk about your book club that you'll be having during your Explore class. But I wanted to give you some information about the books in the library, why I have some of the books that I do on the shelf, and some things to think about as you check out books. And then I wanted to tell you about some books that I think could be a good start for your book club. Of course, there's lots of books that are out there, so just because I'm only mentioning 5 or 6 books doesn't mean that's what you're limited to. I just wanted to help you think about some titles you may not have known about in the past. Whenever you come to the library, try to keep in mind that we have about 1,200 students here, and I'm trying to buy a book for nearly everybody. That means that you're probably going to find a book on the shelf you like, and you might find a book on the shelf that's not for you. So these are some guidelines I want you to understand about the books that we have here in our library. First of all, if you come to the library and you see a book that's on the shelf, whether it's in the new book stack or it's just with the other books on the shelf, if you see it and you like it, check it out. You can have up to 5 things in your account. That could be 3 books and 2 magazines, or it could be all books, or any combination of that. So if you see something you like, check it out. Now, if you come to the library and you see a book that's not for you, that's okay. Find something else to read. There's probably someone else in the building that does want to read it. It might be a book that you don't want to read either because of what the book is about, how long the book is, or maybe some of the things that go on in the book. That's okay. There's lots of different students here. Everybody wants something different. So check out books you like, ignore books you don't like. And the last thing, if you don't see a book that's in our library that you were hoping for, either the title or something about a particular type of book, talk to me about it. Sometimes we can get that book transferred from another library, or we can even buy it for ourselves to have here. So that's my 3 guidelines for books in the library. If you see something, check it out. If you see something you don't like, ignore it. And if you don't see something you want, talk to me and see what we can find. So let me tell you about some books that I think you might enjoy. I tried to pick a wide variety. I picked some science fiction, some fantasy, some realistic, and then some that have some humor in them. First book I want to talk about is one of my favorite science fiction series. It's called Life as We Know It. Miranda and all of her friends have decided to watch the comet. It's a comet that doesn't come by every year, so it's a pretty important event. And the weather forecast is calling for clear skies in the middle of the summer, so everyone's going to have a chance to see this amazing comet come through the sky. So as Miranda and her family and her friends are at the park, lying down on the ground, looking up at the sky to watch the comet, they see a trail across the sky and actually hit the moon. So hard that it knocks a chunk off the moon and actually knocks the moon out of orbit. And if you know anything about how the moon and the earth work together, well, tides are based on what the moon does, weather patterns can be based upon the moon, and lots of other things as well. So as you can imagine, some problems erupt. What this book is Miranda's personal journal about what happens after the moon is shifted, about the life that she used to know. I mean, she was going to be in high school that year. She had all these different plans, but now everything is really falling apart. This is a 4-part series. Each of the books is from a different character's point of view, and sometimes the characters meet and do things together. Sometimes they live independently, but it definitely has an element of the science fiction because this is what could possibly happen if this ever did occur. But you also get a little bit of humor. You get a lot of different emotions that come out of it. It's a great, fast read. I really liked it. So this is Life as We Knew It. Another series that you might like if you like more adventure and you like books that I call kind of brain candy that don't have a lot of thinking into them but are really good to read and are really intense is either the Hero.com or the Villain.net series. And to really tell you more about it, I'm just going to play a short video from the book trailer. So in this series, Toby, Lorna, and Emily are caught inside on a rainy day, and rather than read or work on homework, they actually just start downloading movie trailers from the internet. And one site they go to actually turns into the Hero.com website. On there, they learn that they can accept a mission. If they do, they're actually granted like a temporary superpower, like a superhero power, and then they can accomplish a mission and come back and get a new one. Well, one of the missions results in their mom being abducted, and they have to figure out where she is and who has her. It turns out that she's been abducted by the people from the Council of Evil, who are the Villain.net people. There's a lot of different books in this series. You have to decide, are you a hero, are you a villain? You could read the different books together, but they're just great kind of fun reads, lots of adventure, lots of entertainment, definitely in the fantasy realm, but it could be a good series that's for you. Ranger's Apprentice is a series that's been out for a lot of years. I like it because, one, I like reading fantasy, but two, I really enjoyed the characters from it. In book one, and you'd have to read them in order to really understand what happens in all the later books, but in book one you have characters Will, Halt, and Horace. Will is an orphan. He's grown up in the castle, and he's been ready for the day that the book starts with for kind of his whole life. It's the day where you get to decide what kind of apprentice you want to be. Well, you don't get to decide. You've spent all this time working and showing kind of who you are and learning and just being a part of society, and now one of the masters is going to come pick you to be their apprentice. And Horace gets picked to be a member of the guard, which is great because that's the most powerful, strong guys that are picked for that. And Will actually gets picked to be a ranger's apprentice. And the guy who is the head ranger is Halt, that they all have seen and heard. He's kind of the weird guy that you're not really sure why he's there, but Will doesn't have a lot of choice in this because this is how he's going to make his living now. So what starts as an adventure that carries on through 9 or 10 books. There's actually prequels that come out now as well. It is fast-paced reading, lots of cliffhangers, lots of different things that happen. If you like fantasy, if you like adventure, if you like just a good story, read the Ranger's Apprentice series. So the next book I want to talk to you about is a book by Cynthia Lord called Rules. And to tell you more about it, I actually just want to read from the first chapter, and then you can decide if you want to continue reading past that. Come on, David. I let go of his sleeve, afraid I'll rip it. When he was little, I could pull my brother behind me if he didn't want to do something, but now David's 8 and too strong to be pulled. Opening the front door, I sigh. My first day of summer vacation is nothing like I dreamed. I had imagined today warm, with seagulls winging across a blue sky, not overcast and damp. Still, I refuse to grab my jacket from the peg inside the front door. Umbrella? David asks, a far-off stare in his brown eyes. It's not raining. Come on. Mom said go to the car. David doesn't move. I get his favorite red umbrella. Okay, let's go. I step onto the front porch and slide the umbrella into my backpack with my sketchbook and colored pencils. Let's go to the video store, David says, not moving 1 inch. You're going to the clinic. But if you do a good job, Dad'll take you to the video store when he comes home. The video store is David's favorite place. Better than the circus, the fair, or even the beach. Dad always invites me to come, too, but I say, no thanks. David has to watch all the previews on the store TVs and walk down each row of videos, flipping boxes over to read the parental advisory and the rating. Even on videos Dad would never let him rent. Dad'll say, loud enough for the whole store to hear, rated PG-13 for language and some violence, crude humor. He'll keep reading for hours and flipping them over, not even seeing the book looks people give us. But the hardest part is when David kneels in the aisle to see the back of a video box a complete stranger is holding in his hand. Dad says, no one cares, Catherine. Don't be so sensitive. But he's wrong. People do care. Beside me, David checks his watch. I'll pick you up at 5 o'clock. Well, maybe 5 o'clock, I say. Sometimes Dad's late. David shrieks, 5 o'clock! Shh! I scan the yards around us to see if anyone heard. My stomach flips. A moving van is parked in front of the house next door, back wide open, half full of chairs and boxes. From inside the truck, 2 men appear, carrying a couch between them. My hands tremble, trying to zip my backpack. Come on, David. Mom said go to the car. David stands with his sneaker toes on the top step, like it's a diving board and he's choosing whether to jump. 5 o'clock, he says. The right answer would be maybe. But David only wants surefire answers, yes and no, and Wednesday at 2 o'clock, but never maybe or it depends, or worst of all, I don't know. Next door, the movers set the couch on the driveway. If I hurry, I can ask them before they head into the house. Okay, I said. Dad will pick you up at 5 o'clock. That's the rule. David leaps down the steps just as the moving men climb into the van. He might not understand some things, but David loves rules. I know I'm setting up a problem for later because Dad'll always be late, but I have rules too, and one of mine is, sometimes you gotta work with what you got. What you'll get in this story is rules. Rules about how to live, rules about how to keep peace in your family, rules about how to just try to survive having a brother that's different from you, that you love, but can cause problems with your life. So this is Rules by Cynthia Lord. So the last books I want to tell you about are also from two different series. One series you might have read last year or the year before. One might be new to you, but I think they're both pretty similar, so that's why I want to talk about them both at the same time. It's the Septimus Heap series, and it's the Nicholas Flamel series. And to tell you about them, I'm actually just going to read from the book reviews that have been published online, because I've not read either one of the series, but I know they're very popular and students like them, and they're always checked out here from the library. So let's start with magic. Wide cast of characters battle the forces of dark magic in a well-realized world of fantasy. At birth, Septimus Heap is carried away for dead, and his father, Silas Heap, is entrusted with a baby girl. When the villainous Supreme Custodian tries to assassinate the now 10-year-old Jenna, who, it turns out, is the daughter of the murdered queen, the girl flees to the Mara Marshes along with some family members, the extraordinary wizard, and a young army guard known as Boy 412. Pursued by the servants of the necromancer Tom Daniel and aided by an engaging array of magical beings, they finally prevail in a satisfying and fairly exciting conclusion. Now, the other one I want to talk to you about is also the the Nicholas Flamel series. Twin 15-year-old siblings Sophie and Josh Newman take summer jobs in San Francisco across the street from one another. She at a coffee shop, he at a bookstore owned by Nick and Perry Fleming. In the very first chapter, armed goons grab in black with dead-looking skin and marble eyes, actually golems. They storm the bookshop, take Perry hostage, and swipe a rare book, but not before Josh snatches its two most important pages. The stolen volume is the Codex, an ancient text of magical wisdom. Nick Fleming is really Nicholas Flamel, the 14th century alchemist who could turn base metal into gold and make a potion that ensures immortality. Sophie and Josh learn that they are mentioned in the Codex's prophecies. The two that are one will come either to save or to destroy the world. So both books are fantasy, both books are adventure, both books have mistaken identity, and you pick which one sounds good to you. They also have a lot of different books in those series as well, so if you like the first one, keep on reading. So that's all the books I wanted to tell you about today. I'm going to post a list of these books on the library haiku space. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see a link for 6th grade book club. I'll post the titles of all the books, a short review of them, and I'll even post this video so you can watch it again to get more information. Come to the library. We'll help you check anything out or find something from another school or just get something different that matches you and your group's needs. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon.